Hello, everyone, and welcome to another random bits and pieces segment from my brain. And today, sit a while, for we are playing some more Franchise Hockey Manager 7 with my Tampa Bay Lightning Historical Challenge. Alright, so despite all of the injuries that the simulation is throwing at me, we are still first in the East here in our quest to finally win the Stanley Cup as the Lightning. That has been the challenge since the beginning. Um, we still have Keith Kitchuk, that's Art Matt Sundin is day to day. Marcus Naslund is day to day, even though it says 1 to 2 weeks. So he might be ready before 10 days if I were to put him on the injured reserve. So I am not going to put him there, and we're going to hope that we don't get any more injuries or anything like that. So that's three very important forwards to my team. So let's see how we fare here in December without those guys, at least, without them for at least, a few games. Um, so it looks like we're going to be alternating away and home games all the way until December 11th, where we're going to go on a pretty long western, well, pretty long. We're going to be gone a week out west. We're not going to be playing the Sharks in San Jose. I think that it's in the years where we wouldn't play like every single team all the time. Either that or the NHL screwed up the calendar. I wouldn't put it past them. So, who knows? Alright, so the first team on the menu is going to be the Atlanta Thrashers here. So we're playing in Atlanta to start the month. So we have 2 games in 2 days to start, and then we're going to have a kind of a little bit of a break there. So hopefully those injuries, well, except for Keith Kitchuk, hopefully those injuries are going to kind of resolve themselves. So the Thrashers are 6, 12, and 4, and that's good for 14th in the East. We are 2-0 against the Thrashers this year. Both games were in Tampa Bay, so that's the first time we're playing them in Atlanta. Alright, so we're going to go with Nikolai Bibolin in net for this game. Roman Turek is going to be in net for Atlanta. And of course, as usual, go Lightning, go! We kind of need to stay the course here. Alright, well, that's a good start here. We got a 5-0 victory against the Thrashers on the road to start the month. We outshot Atlanta 36-27. Nikolai Bibolin was the first star of the game. He got the shutout and 27 saves in that effort. Peter Shaslivy was the second star with 2 goals, and Brian Rafalski was the third star with a goal and an assist. So Peter Shaslivy opened up the scoring 43 seconds into the first period from Sergei Gonchar and Martin Straka, and then Nicholas Agman scored from Brian Rafalski. It was 2-0 Tampa Bay after one. So our replacement players are getting on the board for us. That's good. Alright, in the second period, Teppo Numminen scored from Michael Lanzus, made it 3-0 Tampa Bay. Then in the third period, Brian Rafalski scored on the power play from Ryan Smith, and then Peter Shaslivy scored his second of the game from Vili Peltonen. It was a 5-0 victory. We had a fight in the third period. Lyle Odeline and Bill Guerin fought, and knowing Lyle Odeline, he probably kind of had that smile in his face while he was fighting. That guy was always smiling or something. I don't know what it was about him. Happy to be alive, I guess. Alright, Jaromir Jagr has tallied 900 points in his career, got a goal and an assist against Buffalo. So Jaromir Jagr is 28, and he is still obviously a 5-star player. Joe Sakic's point streak ended at 15 games. He was held scoreless against the Stars. Chris Dingman is back from suspension in Florida, back in the lineup over there. Rob Niedermeyer is suspended with the Islanders. He's going to miss 2 games. Jorgen Jansson is back from suspension in Chicago, back in the lineup. Peter Bundra got his 600 point in his career with an assist against Boston. Peter Bundra is 32, and he is a 3.5-star player. Alright, and William Davidson is satisfied with my work, including yesterday's game. We went 8-3-1 last month, so not too bad. I remember we had two losses in a row, and I started to feel a little worried because in the past couple seasons I ended up having lengthy losing streaks that really hurt me. But that wasn't the case. A two-game losing streak happens to any really good team anyway. Alright, so we are now hosting the Detroit Red Wings. So, really good team. They are 18-7-2. We did manage to beat them in Detroit, I believe it was last month, 4-1. So, we are 1-0 against them this season. Let's see if we can beat them on home ice now. The Wings are going to go with Byron Dafoe in net. We're going to go with Nikolai Bibulin, of course. He's right back from a pretty good shutout performance, even if it's 2 games and 2 nights. And it's a 1-1 tie. You know what? It's a good team. I know it's on home ice and everything, and we did play better than them, but sometimes tying against really good teams is acceptable. So I'll take the point. So we outshot Detroit 34-24 in this game. Brian Rafalski was the first star of the game. He had an assist. Stéphane Lebeau was the second star with an assist. And Alex Tanguay was the third star with a goal. 14,681 people in attendance for this game. So the Wings open up the scoring in the first, and then that score held all the way till late in the third period, where Alex Tanguay scored from Ryan Smith and Brian Rafalski. It was tied at 1, and then obviously nobody scored in overtime, so 1-1 is the final score. Alright. Brendan Morrison lights the lamp. He had a hat-trick against the Montreal Canadiens. Brian Fogarty is back from suspension with the Rangers. Alright. So we have 3 days off, so maybe with some luck, Matt Sundin can come back during those days off. There was no stopping Simon Gagner playing for the Suns in my sim. He had a hat-trick against the Carolina Hurricanes. And a night to remember for Marty McInnes. He had 3 goals and an assist against the Devils. Alright, Bill Muckalt is suspended in Calgary. He's going to miss 6 games. Milan Eduk has a great game playing for the Sharks. He had a hat-trick against the Flames in that same game. Sorry, the top of my foot is really itchy, so that's better. Alright, so 1 more day off, and then we're going to be playing the Flyers in Philadelphia. Oh, bad news for Montreal. John Madden, the overrated John Madden, is injured. How long is he injured for? A torn ACL. Ooh. Six months. I don't know what it is. Like I always find the duration like last. Like that's what I'm looking for the first in the message, and like I found like everything else, but I didn't see the 6 months right there. Alright, so yeah, season over for John Madden. See you next year, buddy. Alright, so we're in Philly to play the Flyers. Flyers are 13-13. They're playing 500, and that's good for 9th in the East. We have not played the Flyers so far this season. Well, they are a healthy team. They have no injuries. So the Flyers have Trevor Kidd and Sokolov in net. And then on D, they still have Gary Galley. He's 37. He's been there since I started this series. Vladimir Malakov, Chris Therien, Peter Ratchuk, Brian Elmer, Mathieu Dandonneau, and Darren Van Imp on D. That's not a super great D there. Damon Lanko, Bradis Bister, Samuel Paulson, Sergei Berezin, Rod Brynamore, Greg Johnson, Sekou Koivu, Eric Lindros, Jim Campbell, Rob DiMaio, former Tampa Bay Lightning, Rob DiMaio, Mark Rickey, David Scatchard, Pankov, and Yevtsukin. Yeah, they're pretty loaded up front. So the goaltending is kind of meh. The D is kind of meh, but they're pretty loaded up front. They probably play a a run and gun type of game. Right, so Abibulin is going to be in net. Looks like he might be running with the starter job there. That's his third consecutive start, and he's going to be starting against Trevor Kidd here. We lost this game 4-2. Abibulin played actually pretty good in this game. We did ouch, but he was out goalied by Trevor Kidd. So we got out. We outshot the Flyers. Sorry, 43-40. So lots of shots. Darren Van Imp was the first star of the game with 2 goals. Bill Guerin was the second star of the game with a goal and an assist. And Trevor Kidd was the third star with 41 saves. Right, so the Flyers scored first in the first period, then we tied the game. It was Bill Guerin scoring his 10th of the season from Ryan Smith and Martin Straka. It was tied at 1 after 1. And in the second period, the Flyers scored twice to make it 3-1. Then Martin Straka brought us to within 1 with a goal assisted from Bill Guerin and Rob Blake. 3-2 Flyers after 2. And then the Flyers added a 4th goal there in an empty net. And it was the end of the game. We lost 4-2. Toronto's Jamal Mayers is not suspended. Suspension over for Rob Niedermeyer, so he's back in the lineup. Gerald Deduck played in his 1000th game in his career. Gerald Deduck didn't get a point in that game. It happened against Phoenix. Deduck is 35 and a star and a half. Glenn Wesley also played in his 1000th game in the NHL last night. That was against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Didn't get a point either. 32 years old, Glenn Wesley is a 2-star player now. Matt Sundin is back sooner rather than later. I hope so. Can I miss you, buddy? Right, now we're going to play a home and home against the Colorado Avalanche. There's going to be 3 days off in between, or I should say 2 days off in between both games. But yeah, so we're going to be hosting the Avalanche and then 2 days off, and then we're going to play them in Colorado before we head west in California mostly. Oh, there's some players put on the waivers here. So there's Patrick Awold, there's Yaroslav Sveshkowski, and Richard Capuche. Alright, so we're hosting the Avalanche. They are 17-8-2, so they have a great record. We have not played them this season, so let's take a look. Oh, they have a few injuries. So Claude Lapointe is not going to play. His day-to-day Chris Simon is not going to play. He's out for 1 to 2 months. And Mike Ritchie is also not going to play. He's out 2 to 3 weeks. Oh, I only looked at the injuries. Right, so in net they have Michael Layton and Manny Fernandez, Radoslav Suchi, Kavanagh, Lediard, Pratt, Vishnevsky, Foot, Miller, Vishedkevich, and Wisnowski up on D. Kamensky, Watt, Rosinski, Forsberg, Sakic, White, Schwiner, Brousseau, Calhoun, Carter, Chartrand, and Owen Nolan up front. There's a lot of half-star players on their lineup. Oh, Sundin is going to play. They're putting him on the second line since he's injured, so he's probably going to play a little less. He's going to be playing with Alex Tanguy and Vyacheslav Kozlov. Manny Fernandez is going to be in net for the Avalanche. We're going to go with Nikolai Abibulin. Oh, we lost 4-3 in overtime, so that doesn't give a point. This is not 2021. We outshot them to 38-28. Alexander Kavanagh was the first star of the game. He had a goal and 2 assists. Teppo Numminen was the second star with an assist, and Joe Sakic was the third star with a goal and an assist. We had 15,225 people in attendance for this game. No scoring in the first, but there was a fight between Rob Blake and Owen Nolan. Then in the second period, we scored twice. Bill Guerin scored from Martin Striker and Ryan Smith. Then Vili Peltonen from Sergei Varlamov and Teppo Numminen. It was a 2-0 lead for the Lightning after 2. Then the Avalanche scored 3 unanswered goals in the third period. They had a 3-2 lead. Then Scott Young tied the game from Rob Blake and Matt Sundin. It was tied at 3. And we went into overtime, but Peter Forsberg played the hero in overtime, and we lost 4-3. Oh, it's Vyacheslav Kozlov's turn to be hurt. 1 to 2 weeks. He's day-to-day. Okay. Alright, since Sundin is back, I'm still good as far as subs, so I'm not going to put him on the injured reserve. Alright. Sakic also got hurt in that game. He has a lacerated shin. Matt Sundin is feeling better. Alright, so hopefully he's full strength when we come back to play in Colorado. Oh, he is. There right now. Right, Pavel Bure extends his goal streak to 5 games. He had a goal and an assist against the Oilers. Alright, so Paul Brousseau and Ladislav Benisek are on waivers. Luc Robitaille has a memorable game. He had a goal and 4 assists against the Kings, against his former team. Look at that. And Marcus Naslund is completely recovered. That's great news. He wasn't out all that long. That was a good call to not put him on the injured reserve. So now we only have Kozlov that's hurt. Well, and Keith Kitchuk, obviously. Alright, so let's see if Sakic is going to play. I don't know. Maybe he's gonna miss the game. Actually, that's he can play. Alright, so that's the revenge game. It's gonna be in Colorado. The Colorado Avalanche are now 18-9-2. We obviously just lost in overtime against them, so I would like to give them back, to get them back. Nikolai Abibulin is gonna be in net for us. Manny Fernandez is gonna be in net for them. And we lost again, 6-3. Not a good month so far. We're not doing too good. We have, what, 1 win, 1 tie, and 3 losses? I don't like that. We outshot Colorado as well, 36-23. So, yeah, that one, Abibulin was not doing good. Peter Forsberg was the first star of the game. He had 2 goals and 2 assists. Martin Ruzinski was the second star with a goal and 2 assists. And Nolan Pratt was the third star with an assist. We open up the scoring first. Brian Rafalski scored in the first from Ryan Smith and Boris Mironov. It was 1-0 Tampa Bay. Then Colorado scored 3 goals. And then we had Teppo Numminen score from Marcus Naslund and Alex Tanguy. It was 3-2 Colorado. Then Joe Sakic scored, so he is playing hurt. Made it 4-2 Colorado after 1. There was a fight between Owen Nolan and Rob Blake. Oh, they got at it again. They don't like each other, I guess. Then in the second period, Colorado scored, made it 5-2. Then Brian Rafalski scored on the power play from Martin Straka. It was 5-3 Colorado. They scored again, made it 6-3. And then nobody scored in the third, and we lost 6-3. That's not good. We need to start winning. Alright, we have a couple days off, and then we're going to play in Phoenix. Hopefully we can turn our fortunes around over there. No further discipline for Anaheim's Daryl Shannon. No suspension for him over there. Gets to stay in the lineup. And we are now in Phoenix play against the Coyotes. Coyotes are 10, 18, and 1. Not a very good record. Right, so they have Michael Rossival that's hurt and Raimo Elmanen. Alright. So those two guys are not going to be playing. Oh, yeah, there's a lack of talent on this team. Right, so in net they have Jeff Hackett and Nomovs. On D, they have Brett Clark, Phil Housley, Barrett Jackman, Hunter Lugauer. Is that how it's pronounced? Hunter Lugauer, I think. Johnny Oduya, Dan McGillis, and Frederick Lawson. Up front, they have Danny Eatley, Thomas Holmstrom, Mike Knuble, Brant Myers, Alexei Zamnov, Paul White, Elenan Kachuk. Not Kachuk, it's Daniel, I think. Daniel Kesuk. Mike Johnson, Petrov, Selani, Nizevich, and Petrovicki. Alright, we need to win this game. We should be winning this game. We're still going to go with Nikolai Abibulin. Jeff Hackett is going to be in net for Phoenix. Alright, we won a game that we should have won. We won that 5-1. We outshot Phoenix 46-19. Martin Straka was the first star of the game. He had a goal and 2 assists. Marcus Naslund was the second star with a goal and 2 assists. And Sergei Gonchar was the third star with 2 assists. Right, Ryan Smith got us started in the first from Rob Blake and Matt Sundin. And then Marcus Naslund scored on the power play from Sergei Gonchar and Martin Straka. It was 2-0 Tampa Bay after 1. Then in the second period, Peter Chesley scored from Michael Anzus and Brian Rafalski. Then Martin Straka scored his 10th on the power play from Marcus Naslund and Sergei Gonchar. Alex Tanguy scored on the power play from Marcus Naslund and Martin Straka. It was 5-0 Tampa Bay after 2. Then Johnny Oduya scored with 1:04 to go to prevent Abibulin from getting a shutout. And that's the only goal Phoenix would get, which means we won this game 5-1. Jan Ordina has a memorable game playing for the Sens. He had a hat-trick, 3 goals against the Flames, and that was 5 straight games for him with a goal. Alright, so Doug Brown is on waivers. Suspension for Carolina's Karel Rakunik. He's going to be gone for 7 games. We are now in LA to play against the Kings. Oh wow, look at that. So we play today in LA and then tomorrow in Anaheim, and then the rest of the month we are playing at home. There's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 straight games at home to finish the month. If we can't capitalize on that, yeah, that's gonna be rough. All right, so the Kings are 15, 12, and 4, so it's an okay record. They are completely healthy there. All right, so oh yeah, that's gonna be rough. They have 2 half-star goaltenders in net, so they have Jean-François Racine and Rastislav Stana. So both of them are half stars. Alright. So on D they have Crawley, Sidor, Zitnik, Seager, Laos, Daniel Markov, and Derek Morris. Up front they have Yaroslav Bednar, Magnus Arvidsson, Alexander Korolyuk, Rem Murray, Patrick Elias, David Legwan, Todd Marchand, Derek Plant, Shubarov, Bure, Gardiner, Tibbetts, Zenik, and Mark Parrish. It's not that bad of a team except for the goaltenders. I bet they lose games just because of the goaltending. Probably didn't help that Bill Ranford retired prior to that season. Alright, so Nikolai Abibulin is going to be in net for us. He's going to be facing Rastislav Stana. And we won 3-1. Alright. Winning streak better than a losing streak. We actually got outshot in that one, 32-30. Martin Straka was the first star of the game. He had a goal and an assist. Matthias Seeger was the second star with a goal, and Marcus Naslund was the third star with 2 assists. So the Kings opened up the scoring in the first, then Martin Streka tied the game on the power play from Marcus Naslund and Matt Sundin. It was tied at 1 after 1. And in the second period, Bill Guerin scored on the power play from Marcus Naslund and Martin Streka, made it 2-1. And then Alex Tanguy scored on the power play as well, so all 3 of our goals were scored on the power play. And that was assisted by Mikhail Nylander and Sergei Gonchar. That was a 3-1 victory. We had a fight also in the third period. Paul Laus and Bill Guerin got into it. Martin Straka has a day-to-day injury. Alright. If it's day-to-day, I should be able to survive it. And Matt Cook, the dangerous piece of feces, is back from suspension in Washington, and he sadly gets to be back in the lineup. Right, so Striker is hurt, Kozlov is hurt, so yeah, I have Agman that can play for Straka. Right, and we are now in Anaheim to play against the Mighty Ducks. It's a little bit tougher in Anaheim. They are 9-21-4. They do have Bates Battaglia, that's hurt. In net, they have Guilbert and Roberto Luongo. Now, Luongo is 21, so he's not fully developed. He's still a 2-star goaltender, but he's not fully developed. Murray, Barron, Ken Daneko, Chris O'Sullivan, Daryl Shannon, I think it's Martin Ulrich, yes. Sylvain Lefebvre, Merrick Malik, Alesh Pisa, and David Tanabe on D. Up front, they have Gary Roberts, Tuoko, Le Cavalier, Adams, Cullen, Stapleton, Vittel and Ziork, St. Louis, Volk, Zarillo, and Alpern. Alright, so let's see if we can beat the Mighty Ducks. Johan Edberg is going to be in net for us, and he's going to be facing Roberto Luongo. And we tied against a bad team, 2-2, so that I don't like. Especially since we completely dominated them on shots 53-15, so Johan Edberg didn't have a good game. Daryl Shannon was the first star of the game, he had a goal. Ryan Smith was the second star of the game with a goal as well, and Marek Malik was the third star with an assist. Right, Ryan Smith opened up the scoring in the first from Bill Guerin and Rob Blake. It was 1-0 Tampa Bay after 1. Then in the second period, Anaheim tied the game, tied at 1 after 2. Then 22 seconds into the third period, Boris Mironov scored from Matt Sundin and Teppo Numminen. It was 2-1 Tampa Bay. But then Anaheim tied the game yet again. It was tied at 2. We went to overtime, and obviously nobody scored. So we have a tied 2-2 game. Right, now we have 3 days off, and then we're going back home. We're going to play some tough teams. So yes, it is going to be a homestead, a pretty lengthy homestead, but we're also going to be playing some tough teams. Oh, former Tampa Bay Lightning, Mikael Anderson, has been put on waivers. No, I'm not going to claim him, not even for nostalgia's sake. Mark Macy played in 1,500 games, celebrated that with 2 assists. That happened against Florida. Mark Messier, 39 years old, 3.5-star player. So, Mike Vernon played in his 800th game in his career. He didn't have a very good game. He played only for 7 minutes. Right, so yeah, that happened against Colorado. Mike Vernon is 37 and still a 2.5-star goaltender. Owen Nolan in that same game had a hat trick. And suspension over for Bill Muckalt with the Flames. He is back in the lineup. Sorry, my throat is terrible right now. Luc Robitaille extends his point streak to 12 games. He had an assist against the Oilers. Ian Leperrier is suspended with St. Louis. He's going to miss 15 games. Theo Fleury has a great game. He had a hat trick, 3 goals against Phoenix. Vyacheslav Kozlov is ready for more drills. That's good. That means he might be back soon. And Martin Straka is also feeling better. Are they both? Well, Kozlov is still unable to play, but Straka might play the next game. Alright, so we're hosting the Pittsburgh Penguins. They are really good. They are 22-10-1. That's good for first in the East because we're not first anymore. That losing streak at the start of the month kind of killed us a little. Alright, so we are 1-0 against Pittsburgh. We did win in Pittsburgh 4-1 earlier this season. Mike Rossetti is going to be in net for the Pens. We're going to go with Nikolai Abibulin. Come on, Nikolai, we need a good game here. We got a good game. 5-1 victory. And for once, we're the ones who were like outshot but pulled a great performance. So we were outshot 32-26. Bill Guerin was the first star of the game. He had 2 goals. Nikolai Abibulin was the second star with 31 saves. And Matt Sundin was the third star with 2 assists. We had 14,972 people in attendance for the game. Bill Guerin opened up the scoring in the first period from Matt Sundin and Brian Rafalski. Then Peter Shaslivy scored from Martin Straka and Vili Peltonen. Then Bill Guerin scored again on the power play from Markus Naslund and Matt Sundin. And then Mikael Nylander scored on the power play from Vili Peltonen and Francis Bouillon. 4-0 Tampa Bay lead after 1. That's a serious lead right there. In the second period, Michael Lanzo scored his 5th from Markus Naslund and Alex Tanguay, made it 5-0. Then Pittsburgh scored. It was 5-1. Nobody scored in the third, so 5-1 is the final score. Luc Robitaille extends his point streak to 13 games. He had a goal against the Chicago Blackhawks. And Sakic is hurt day-to-day again with the Avalanche. Right, and now we're going to host the New Jersey Devils. It's our last game before Christmas. Good night for Kip Miller. He had a hat trick, 3 goals against the Phoenix Coyotes. Right, so New Jersey is in town. They have a 17-13-3 record. That's good for 6th in the East. We are 1-0 against the Devils this season. We clobbered them 7-3 in New Jersey earlier this season. Can we get another W before Christmas? Tomas Vokoun is going to be in net for New Jersey. We are going with Nikolai Abibulin. And we won 4-3. That's good. That's good. We are taking advantage of that homestead. At least so far we are. Oh, yeah. We outshot New Jersey 56-27. Brian Rafalski was the first star of the game. He had 2 assists. Peter Sikara was the second star with a goal and an assist. And Ryan Smith was the third star with 2 assists. 14,849 people in attendance for the game. New Jersey scored first. And they were up 1-0 after 1. Then they scored again in the second period, pretty early as well. It was 2-0 New Jersey after at that point. Then Peter Shaslivy scored his 5th on the power play from Ryan Smith and Alex Tanguay, made it 2-1 New Jersey. Then New Jersey scored again, made it 3-1. But Markus Naslund scored his 15th before the end of the period from Michael Lanzus and Brian Rafalski. It was 3-2 New Jersey after 2. It looked like we were going to lose this game. But late into the third period, Vili Peltonen tied the game from Brian Rafalski, and shortly after that, Rob Blake scored his 5th. That was the game winner from Ryan Smith and Matt Sundin. 4-3 victory. That's a nice Christmas gift. We got a W. Luke Robitaille's point streak ended at 13 games. He was held scoreless against the Avalanche. Memorable night for Zygmunt Palffy. He had a hat trick against the Columbus Blue Jackets. And Martin Straka is within sight of returning. That's good. Alright, it is Christmas, and as a Christmas gift, I get a fully healthy Martin Straka back, so I like that. Vyacheslav Kozlov is also feeling better, so for once, I'm getting gifts on Christmas in this game. Alright, now we're going to be hosting the Carolina Hurricanes. Alright, so they are 11, 20, and 1. That's good for 14th in the East. And we are 1-0 against the Hurricane this season. We beat them 3-2 in Carolina earlier this season. Chris Osgood is going to be in net for the Hurricanes. We are going to go with Nikolai Bibulin. And we won 6-3. All right. We outshot Carolina 52-21. Matt Sundin was the first out of the game. He had a goal and 2 assists. Ryan Smith was the second star with a goal and an assist. And Bill Guerin was the third star with an assist. 15,316 people in attendance in Tampa Bay. Martin Straka scored on the power play from Bill Guerin and Matt Sundin. That was a 1-0 lead for the Lightning. Then Carolina scored twice to make it 2-1 Carolina. But Teppo Numminen scored from Peter Sheslivy and Mikael Nylander. It was tied at 2 after 1. Then in the second period, the Hurricanes scored, made it 3-2 Hurricanes. Then we scored 3 unanswered goals. Matt Sundin scored from Ryan Smith. Then Ryan Smith scored short-handed from Boris Mironov and Matt Sundin. Then Michael Lanzus from Brian Rafalski and Vyacheslav Kozlov. 5-3 Tampa Bay after 2. Then we added one more goal in the third. Peter Sheslivy scored from Mikael Nylander. It was a 6-3 Tampa Bay victory. Or Peter Sheslivy is having the best season he's never had in real life. Oh, and after that loss, they're talking about firing the coach in Carolina. So now they dropped to 11, 21, and 1. So Jacques Demers, who is the coach in Carolina, is looking at potentially not having a job anymore. Patrick Marleau extends his go streak to 5 games. He had 2 goals against us, so that makes it 5 games with at least a goal for him. Good game for Mario Lemieux. He had 3 goals and an assist against the Sabres. Vyacheslav Kozlov is getting ready to come back. Jeff Odgers has been put on waivers. I'm not going to pick him up. Steve Yzerman has recorded 1,250 games played. Didn't get a point. That was against the Wild. Steve Yzerman is 35 and he is a 4-star player. Memorable night for Marty McInnis playing for the Islanders. He had a hat trick against Boston. Vincent Danfous got 900 points in his career. Got a goal against the Vancouver Canucks. Danfous is 33 and a 2-star player. Brian Leach is day-to-day with the Rangers. Alright. So now we're hosting the Flyers. Flyers are a little bit better than last time we saw them. They are now 19 and 17. That's good for 8 in the East. We are 0-1 against them. We did lose 4-2 in Philadelphia. The first game this month we played against them. Trevor Kidd is going to be in net for the Flyers. Why not? He's the one who beat us last time. And Nikolai Bibulin is going to be in net for us. And it's a 0-0 tie. We were outshot 34-29. Saku Koivu was the first out of the game. No point. Brian Rafalski was the second star. No point. Gary Gaddy was the third star. No point for him either. I don't know why the goaltenders don't get, a star for a shutout. That's a tie, but I think it's probably a bug in the game because I believe that it's always like that in a 0-0 tie. Now, 0-0 ties are pretty rare, but I do believe that the goaltenders never get a star for them. All right, there were 15,302 people that I hope were not hoping for a lot of goals scored because they would have been pretty disappointed. Not a whole lot to say about this game. There was no scoring, no fighting, just some penalties, and we move on. Alright, so Kozlov is fully recovered. That is very bueno. Yeah, I'm kind of curious. Oh, Shaslevy did get a 19-point season in real life in 2002 2003. That's actually not bad. All right, so we have 2 games left here to finish the month. One is going to be against Boston, the other one against the Leafs. Both are at home, and they're going to be back to back. All right, so Buffalo's coach is also looking at potential at the potential of losing his job. Buffalo is 11-20-4, so Mike O'Connell might be without a job soon. Joe Nieuwendyk played in his 1000th game as part of the Calgary Flames. He got a goal to celebrate that, and that happened against Vancouver. Nieuwendyk is 34 and a 3.5 star player. So in this now, as you probably remember, those of you who watched my series last year with the Suns, I got Joe Nieuwendyk to play for me for a while, but in this one, Nieuwendyk remains in Calgary. I didn't go after him. I went after Matt Sundin instead. Alright, so we're playing at home against Boston. Boston is really struggling. They are 9-24-4. That's good for dead last in the East. Those are trap games. I tend to lose those games. Adam Denmarsh is hurt. He's not going to be playing this game. So in net, they have John Graham and Jean-Marc Pelletier. On D, it's Don Sweeney, Igor Ulanov, Glenn Wesley, Tom Pody, Ray Borg, Darren Quint, and John Clem. Up front, they have Ted Donato, Sergei Zoltuk, Koreshkov, Marshall, Stampel, Guola, Rizoner Oates, Gomez, Cherkowski, Hines, McGillney, Murray, and Orkov. That's not that terrible of a team. Like, I don't know why they are, like, struggling so bad. I mean, I face some teams that are worse than that. Jean-Marc Pelletier is going to be in net for the Bruins. We are going to go with Nikolai Abibulin, who has 5 fires under his name. I like that. And it's a 2-2 tie against the worst team in the East. We outshot them 54-28. Teppo Numminen was the first star of the game. He had a goal. Steven Hines was the second star with a goal and an assist. And Martin Straka was the third star with an assist. 16,055 people in attendance for the game. Boston opened up the scoring in the first, and it was 1-0 Boston after 1. Then they added another goal in the second. It was 2-0 Boston after 2. That didn't look too good for us. But then in the third period, Teppo Numminen scored his 5th on the power play from Brian Rafalski and Alex Tanguay. And then Markus Naslund scored on the power play to tie the game from Sergei Gonchar and Martin Straka. Tied at 2, and of course, that was the final score. Nobody scored in overtime. Markus Naslund is hurt again. And so is Boris Mironov. Alright. Mironov is day-to-day as well. Naslund is day-to-day. Alright, so mild groin strain for Naslund. Strong game for Pierre Turgeon. He had 3 goals and an assist against the Buffalo Sabres. Jaromir Jagr reaches 400 goals in his career with a goal against the Ottawa Senators. Jagr is 28 and still a 5-star player. That hasn't changed since the start of this video. There was no stopping Jan Ardina. Another hat-trick for Jan Ardina today in that same game against Pittsburgh. Oh wow, Jan Erdina is more than a point per game. Brendan Shannon extends his goal streak to 5 games with a goal against Phoenix. Alright, that's our... Oh, the player poll is released. The best skater is Pavel Bure. The hardest shot is Al McInnes. The toughest is Brant Myers. Fastest is Pavel Bure. Best role model is Steve Yzerman. Cleanest is Brian Campbell. Controversial is Patrick Eliash. Overrated is Alexander Degg. Underrated is Nick Lidstrom. Smartest is Steve Yzerman. Toughest goalie to beat is the Dominator. And the coach you'd most like to play for is Joel Quenneville in Florida, who is supplanting Scotty Bowman, who always had that locked down. Alright, so we have one game. Oh, yeah. I need to check here. Alright, so Naslund is hurt, so Chesley or Agman can come in, and Avlid can come. Okay. We're good. Despite our day-to-day injuries, we are good. So we're hosting the Leafs, last game of the month. They are 17-17-4. That's good for 9th in the East. We are 0-1 against Toronto. We tied against them 2-2 in Toronto. Earlier this season, Cristobal Huet is going to be in net for the Leafs. We are going to go with Johan Edberg. It's another tie against the Leafs, so we are unable to beat the Leafs for some reason. So 3-3 tie. We were outshot 30-26 in that one. Ryan Smith was the first star of the game. He had 2 assists. Steven Reinprecht was the second star with a goal and an assist. And Sergei Gonchar was the third star with 2 assists. 15,534 people in attendance for this game. Martin Streko was the first star of the game. The first one to score, sorry. From Sergei Gonchar and Ryan Smith, it was 1-0 Tampa Bay. Then Toronto tied the game, and then 20 seconds later, Vyacheslav Kozlov scored from Sergei Gonchar and Francis Bouillon. It was 2-1 Tampa Bay, and then 10 seconds later, the Leafs tied the game, believe it or not. So that was 3 goals scored in 30 seconds. It was tied at 2 after 1. In the second period, Toronto scored, made it 3-2 Toronto. There was a fight between Bill Guerin and Jamal Mayers. And then in the third period, Matt Sundin scored from Ryan Smith, tied the game, and that stayed like that until the final whistle. Patrick Marleau extends his point streak to 12 games. He got a goal against the Chicago Blackhawks. Karel Rakunek is back from suspension in Carolina. Marco Tuoco in Anaheim is suspended. He's going to miss 7 games. No one could stop Mike York in Anaheim in that same game. He had a hat-trick against the Wild. And the players of the month were Mario Lemieux and Manny Fernandez. Alright, so we are January 1st. So I'm going to go ahead and stop here. We have a switch of power there in the East, so the Sens rose all the way to first. We are second, and then Pittsburgh is third. The closest ones in our division is the Florida Panthers, and they are 7 points behind us with 1 more game played. Let's take a look at the West, see what it looks like. Alright, so Detroit is really good as usual. Colorado is really good as well. Dallas, Calgary, San Jose, Vancouver, Edmonton, and the LA Kings. Oh, there's a 3-way tie for the worst team in the league between the Phoenix Coyotes, the Boston Bruins, and the Carolina Hurricanes, who all have 23 points. Now, which team has the least? The Boston Bruins have the least amount of wins, so I guess technically they are the worst team. They also have a minus 41 differential, but wow. The Mighty Ducks have a minus 55 differential, yet they are not dead last. Oh, the Sens are doing pretty good with a plus 54 differential. That's the best in the league. Alright, let's take a look. So we've had quite a few injuries, so I'm not too sure anymore what it looks like here for the stats. So our best player is Martin Straka, 35 points in 36 games, so he's basically a point per game. Same for Matt Sundin, really close, 31 and 33. Marcus Neslin, 29 and 32, so they are all pretty close. Guerin, 29, and then Rafalski and Gonchar both have 26 points each, so they are my best offensive defensemen. And then it trickles down, all the way down. Let's take a look in the entire league. So Mario Lemieux is by far the best goal scorer with 33 goals. That's 9 more than second place Paul Carrier. Joe Sakic is the best passer with 42. The best scorer is Mario Lemieux with 73 points. That is 15 more than second place Joe Sakic. Alright, now for the goaltending. Now, Abby Boleyn played more, so I don't know if we're going to see his name somewhere. What's his save percentage? 929. Yeah, he would be tied with Dan Cloutier there. Oh, Abby Boleyn is ninth for the goal save against average with 8.46. That's pretty good. The best in the league is Ron Tugnutt. Typically a fan favorite of the Sens. A lot of Sens fans really like Ron Tugnutt when he played for the Sens. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and save the game. So as usual, I'm going to go ahead and stop here. And I do want to thank you for tuning in. And if you've liked the video and you would like to help support me and my channel, please feel free to like, subscribe, share, comment, all of that good stuff. And until I roll this game again, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.